Hi, everybody. I am the CRM Ninja, and I'm bringing another episode of the Oops Factor. Today, I'm talking to Tomasz Poszytek.
Poszytek, yeah, but
Poszytek.
that was really close.
I'm trying. I'm talking to people with so many different accents and from different countries. I'm really trying to do it. So, yeah, this thing. But thank you so much for coming on the show. It's really great to have you on.
Hi, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are at the moment.
International time zone.
Right.
We should just say like good UTC.
Good Monday. Yeah, good UTC. So UTC is still morning, so good morning.
Yeah. So before we start with things, I understand that you are into photography. I know before we just started recording this, you're talking about your Huawei phone and stuff. Now, my wife is into photography a bit, and I have friends who are into photography. So my question for you, this really is a loaded one, is which brand, Canon or Nikon, and why?
Right. So as everyone knows who is into photography, there are just like two kind of people, right? Like with everything, the one who eats kiwi with the skin without peeling, and then the other one that peels, right? Or people who think that glass is half empty and half full. However, and in photography, there are also this sort of diversity. There are Canon people and Nikon people. So I am a Canon a person.
Okay.
I somehow was given my first Canon camera by my dad.
Okay.
So that he bought it for himself, but he then bought another one, and so I somehow inherited this one after him. And
Right.
this is how my, let's say, adventure with photography started. And then I started just to acquire and purchase new lenses, and then another lenses, and then I bought a new body. So because of all of that, obviously, because of all this story, I just stuck with Canon. However, I have to personally say that I really admire the sound of shutter in Nikon. It's just much warmer. So yeah,
Okay.
sorry for my eyes just running from the camera to you, because like you're on my screen just to the left.
No, it's
So like,
fine.
right. So
So,
that's
so,
why.
so feedback for Canon is improve your shutter sound.
Right. No, no, really. I mean, if you compare Canon to Nikon, Nikon is making this just warm, comfortable click, whereas Canon is just like, I don't like it. So especially when you're doing photos in a very quiet environment, and then you hear your Canon, it's like, wow, it's so noisy.
Ah.
Right. So, but then Nikon is really warm, and I like the sound. But because I have all the gear on from
Yes.
Canon, then
You
that's
sort
Canon.
of have to go, if you start going in one direction, you have multiple bodies and almost dozens of lenses and filters and stuff, and obviously they're not compatible.
Oh,
A bit like
lenses works both, but I mean the filters, but lenses, yeah. I
the
heard
filters
they're
work on
like
both.
kind of
Okay.
like adapter that you can just put between the body and the lens, and then you can like attach a Canon lens to the Nikon, but it will certainly make the lens a much darker, right?
Okay.
And that's not where you should go.
Out of curiosity, the adapter that you have, is that made by either Canon or Nikon, or is that like a third-party produced piece?
No, I think it's like a third party. So
Okay.
I read about that somewhere, but I don't have one. So I'm just working with Canon and Sigma lenses, but no Nikon.
Sigma do some good stuff. I've seen some
Yeah,
examples over the years.
right.
And what would you say is your favorite thing to photograph?
Well, I'm very much into nature and landscapes,
Okay.
but because I used to be working as a windsurfing rental manager.
Wow.
Yeah, so like through all my teenager and university years, I've been working at the Polish coast as a manager of a windsurf rental,
Okay.
and I also bought this long Canon lens to make a proper sport photography, and I did a lot of those photos of windsurfers really riding fast. So I also love photos, the sport photos, the photos in motion, because
Yeah.
they do require a little bit of different skills from you to make them properly. But it's also like working with people,
Yeah.
and it also gives a lot of fun. So I was just floating on a boat, and windsurfers were riding around me. So like I had an agreement with them that they had just to ride to the. I mean, they had like to sail
Yes.
up to me and then away. But yes. So apart from the landscapes, it's also the sport photography that I'm
Wonderful.
really
That sounds really good. And I mean, there are some great pictures out there. So going from windsurfing to what are you going to share with us about your oops story? Or does that include windsurfing as well?
No, this oops story is not going to include windsurfing. I'm still thinking about what this oops story could be. Do you have like any kind of
Oh, no, I'm not suggesting anything. This needs to come directly from you.
Like the oops might sound like if there was a kind of maybe not a mistake, but something that I did not done properly.
If I said to you this, if I said, what's the worst thing that's happened to you on a project, either because of something that you did or because of something someone else did, what would your immediate mental image be?
You know what? It's not about the projects. I mean, I did see some of the videos that you've done previously, and I think that most of the people then, when you ask them, hey, what did you do on a project that was like your oops, would be that they did analysis part wrong. So that they did not spend enough time on doing the proper analysis. But what I just wanted to share is like a part of my personal life that when I started working, it was at a university back then, and I started being a programmer in a PHP. And then suddenly I had classes at the university around project management. So yeah, I did for a couple of years project management. So I had to suffer all these issues with the team not doing well, or with the customers who are blaming always me that something is done wrong. And I was this interface for both the team and the customer, and constantly struggling with all those demands and complaints. So, but anyway, I was so much inspired by my teacher to become a project manager that I just tried my luck. So right after I graduated university, I started my first, I mean, not the first, because as I said, I was a programmer on universities as well. But I started my first job as a project manager. And my first project was that I didn't have enough of the experience. Although the company that hired me put me into a project to build an intranet on SharePoint. And that was actually like over 10 years ago right now. And that was my first contact with SharePoint. It was 2007. Okay. And I was like, oh, heck, what should I do with that? Like, how should I do this project? Like, where are my books? What are the steps in the project? How should I follow? But apart from like the fact that I was a project manager, I had this contact with SharePoint. And my first experience was like, I said, oh, that sucks. It's really difficult to work with that. Like, who on earth would ever work with that? And
isn't it marvelous that the landscape has changed so much since then?
Yes. So like, I was also one of these people that had like been forced to work with SharePoint, to create applications on SharePoint, and was in this situation that no, like no one's gonna use it, or like, yes, you have to use it, and then people were like, no, we are forced to do that. We don't have knowledge how to use it. We are not learned. We are not trained. We just won't use it. So
you were being told that you had to use SharePoint for this?
For example, or that there was an application that people were forced to use because it was ordered by the IT, because IT thought it's really desired by the company.
So IT pushing from their side.
Yes, but back then the term of adoption was not known. So it was like IT thought it's needed, so they ordered, they created it, and they said, yes, here you have it, work with that.
Got it.
They were just the users were missing the instructions, missing trainings. I mean, we did sort of a training, but it was like, okay, done. So the internet was not a real big success. The applications were not really being used. But what I just wanted to say, apart from the fact that it was kind of a noobs, because it was just, okay, I've done my job, over.
Okay.
But then I was involved in other projects and then other projects. And I had once also a project to create, again, an intranet with, for the Polish company working with the energy, with the pure energy.
Okay.
And back then I still wasn't really aware of doing the proper adoption. Like I knew that we do have to do a training. We do have to somehow like inspire users to use the tool, to work with the tool. However,
and it's always good when users actually know how to use it, of course, rather than it just being dumped on them.
Yes, like we knew that we have to do trainings. We knew that we have to work with the end users to somehow really inspire them. But I didn't know about any of the tools.
Okay.
And during that project, I was working with the communication manager from that company, and that person, that employee was like a real mine of great ideas of how to actually adopt the intranet successfully.
Okay,
so
wow.
He was a constant source of the ideas, of knowledge, of let's create tools, let's create gamification, let's print stickers with badges.
Gamification.
I don't know. Yeah, the gamification. It was like in 2013.
Okay, fine.
So quite time ago.
Yeah, I mean, gamification has only really come into the Microsoft space in the last few years, both with Dynamics and then Microsoft Learn as well. You can get points and badges and stuff. So back in 2013, that's 7 years ago. That's really quite, ahead of the curve.
And so we did this intranet, and then we did a lot of trainings, and then he printed all these swag things, the stickers, the badges. Yes, really. And
that's what's important.
But people were really into. They were really engaged. They were really creating. So he invented an idea that, hey, let's give people some small swag because they will write articles to our knowledge base, so that they'll just author articles in the intranet. So the intranet is not dead; it's working, it's living. There are people creating content, and it was really alive. It had a massive response from the company, so that was a kind of success. And well, then I was after that in a situation that I thought, right, so I've been working with this SharePoint like 4 years already. Okay. And what do I want to do in my life? Do I really want to work with SharePoint forever? Do I really want to narrow down my specialization only to SharePoint? So then I changed the company. I mean, I changed the project, and I started a project in Python. Okay. We are doing banking transaction systems.
Let's just caveat, by the way, and say that there are some really great SharePoint gurus out there, and we absolutely love you guys for it, because the knowledge that you guys have and spread, we're not dissing SharePoint in any way.
Right. So anyway, I had this small affair with Python, and I was like, all right, so that's fine. That's a different technology. That's a different project. So like I kind of refreshed my mind, but then I was back to SharePoint, and I decided, yeah, that's like the Microsoft is the technology I really want to stick to. So maybe not the SharePoint exclusively, but by the Microsoft. And then I changed company. I moved to another company. I started doing a lot of analysis. I started doing a lot of business processes.
Okay.
I started doing a lot with SharePoint Designer to I became kind of a citizen developer. So apart from just managing projects, I also started working with SharePoint from the backend side. So I started doing my own workflows. I started to customize pages, even content query web parts. So this queries are behind.
It's pretty good.
So I did a couple of things as a citizen developer, and then somehow like fluently I just moved to Nintex, and from Nintex to Microsoft Flow, our Automate. Yeah. And so here I am today, and I'm totally happy that I did not change my mind back then, like 6 years ago, that maybe Microsoft is just not a thing. So that I stick to that technology, and I stick to that producer, and I'm here today. As a lucky MVP, working with the Power Platform.
It's great. I mean, the stuff that you put out there is really, really amazing. So sort of the lessons that you learned from that, from what I've heard of it, was that, number one, make sure you have the right tools and the right technology. Technology shouldn't be pushed down people's throats and then thrust on them by IT, but more should be business-driven, business-led to fit the business needs, so appropriate technology. And obviously understanding the business and how it does things. And incentivification really can go a long way in helping the user adoption, even if that's just some badges or stickers and stuff.
Right. I mean, the key point from all these projects that I had is that today you don't only involve IT in projects that are
Yep.
not meant to be only for IT exclusively. But if you do really want to make project for business, then obviously you do have to find business users that will be dedicated to project, that will be this like the middleware from the business side to the IT side, that will be able to name the requirements. And then, well, one of the key takeaways that I learned through all these years of managing projects and then working with people was that when you want to really success in the project, you don't need to only focus on IT, even though that IT is paying for the project.
Yeah.
I mean, unless that's the project and the product is meant for the IT. But every time there is anyhow business involved and what you're doing is anyhow dedicated to business, then obviously you need to have everyone on board, including business users as like the middleware who is able to translate their requirements to IT requirements. So yeah, I mean, there were a lot of things I failed when managing projects, but I also learned a lot. But today I'm happily working as a freelance consultant, mainly analyzing the business requirements around the processes and small applications. So these projects are a little bit easier than those that were rolling out to the whole company.
Yeah.
But still gives me a lot of satisfaction when I see that what I've done is being used. Wonderful. At least across department, right?
That's really amazing to hear, and I really appreciate your time in coming on the show and sharing the story with us.
It was a pleasure as well speaking to you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching.
If I could ask you who you would like to see on the show to share their own Oops Factor story, who would you nominate?
Right. So like I saw that you've already been talking to, I have to misspell his name, Juicy. Like, yes, UC Mori, about his podcast, so that he's also a cool guy around adoption. Yeah. But I also could recommend my friend and co-speaker and person with whom I'm organizing conferences in Poland, so Edyta Gorzon. Okay. She's another person from Polish MVP sphere. She's also a great Teams adoption specialist, an expert. So feel free to invite her as well. But Brilliant. She has even more complicated last name than I do. So
I relish the challenge of trying to pronounce it. So I will reach out to you offline and ask for an introduction to be made for that.
Okay. Thank you.
Brilliant. No problem at all. Now, quickly before we go, I also want to thank you for repping John Levesque with his Less Code, More Power shirt, which we can sort of see there. One of my missions is to tag John in as many things as possible. Yeah, there we go. Less Code, More Power.
There it is.
John, see, it's going global. So it's absolutely great to see you wearing it. I'm waiting at some point to get mine. Hint, hint, John. Hint, hint. So we will see that. Thank you for your time, viewers. We hope that you've enjoyed watching this. If you would like to sign up and come on the show yourself, please hit the link below in the description. Please also feel free to take a look at the rest of the Oops Factor playlist and subscribe to the blog and channel. Have a great day.